you have a seat open next to you? Okay, there's a lot of raised hands. I was going to say, if you have a hand, oh, perfect. If you have a seat open next to you, please raise your hand. If there are people still coming in, we're going to ask that you come over here to my right. It's a little bit more open here, and we want to keep aisleways clear. But against the wall, there's some room there. So if folks can be moving in, down, and over towards my right. Thank you. We'll get started in just a minute. We just want to try and help people file in. So please keep moving. Find an open space. Find a seat. Thank you for helping bring more people in safely and comfortably. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, I'm Sarah Hughes. I use she, her pronouns, and I am on staff here at Labor Notes. Being a part of building this conference and movement with you is a tremendous honor. How incredible was this weekend? Let's actually take a quick second. Find someone around you. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. Turn to them and for just a second, tell them what your favorite session or workshop or connection was. Tell each other, just real quick, what was your favorite? Okay, well now I think I've unleashed something. Great, okay, I encourage debriefs. How beautiful is that though? We can't stop talking to each other. Labor Notes as an organization, a network, and a conference has taken decades to build. Each conference has been our biggest yet, but that isn't because we've hired a couple more staff. And it's not just because the labor movement is gaining steam. It's because we build Labor Notes together. We repeatedly hear, the first time I came to Labor Notes, it was just me, but at the next one, I brought a couple more people. And the one after that, I brought a couple more people. A handful of staff could not plan almost 300 panels, workshops, concerts, meetings. We couldn't make sure everyone stays safe, or fed, or comforted, or challenged. Labor Notes grows every conference because we do these things together and for each other. We build connections and friendships and networks. We suggest and plan and recruit for these sessions based on things we want to know and things that we've learned and want to share. We analyze our mistakes, and we celebrate our victories. And we wrestle with the things that are both. And it is almost always complicated. We're not able to win all the things we need yet. And that is going to take more power. For more power, we will need more organizing conversations, more listening, more relationship building, more strategy, bringing in more and more people to our movement. We will disagree on how to do this, but we can build a place where those disagreements lead to stronger and more strategic movements. We are honored to be in this fight with you. Thank you. And now for our incredible performers and speakers. I'm going to launch right into, first we have Be Young You. I hope everyone is I hope everyone is leaving the Labor Notes Conference today fired up with inspiration and with some new action plans percolating in your head. Be Young You is a great example of that. 2 years ago, he and some other teachers from Portland, Oregon, were here at the Labor Notes Conference strategizing about how to fire up their union. Well, they did. Be Young is now on the executive board of the Portland Association of Teachers, along with Angela Bonilla, who you heard from Friday night. And last year, they built a powerful contract campaign and went on strike for almost 4 weeks to force the school district to deal with mold, rats, building temperatures, and above all, class sizes. Be Young wrote this song during the strike and performed it on a truck with speakers blasting right outside the superintendent's house. So keep that in your head as you listen. Please welcome Be Young You.
Hey y'all, it was Kampala that came through at the beginning of, right before our strike, and was like, Kampala from Oakland Teachers Union. And was like, somebody's gotta flip this Solidarity Forever song. No shade to the original. I just didn't hear any Koreans or POCs up in it. Then it was Cecily from UTLA that came through at the beginning of our strike. And I had this little recording of Cecily that I would play every morning right before hitting the picket lines. And it said, "You're gonna be tired? Get over it. You'll sleep when you're dead." Then it was Marsha from Minneapolis Federation of Teachers that came through. And in our third or fourth week of the strike, when that folks that aren't comfortable experiencing that discomfort started unraveling, it was Marsha that said, "Don't blink. Don't blink." And I thought about my friend Angela Bonilla sitting up in that bargaining space, 18-hour days, no windows, dysfunctional board, dysfunctional district, dysfunctional government. And y'all, Angela was holding it down. Strong black women, strong Afro-Latina women, inspiring a crew of educators of color that came up in this union and made space at the table whether we were invited or not. Strong brown woman that led the picket lines in the name of special education. The students that look like you, see you. Alicia, where you at? I brought Ginger up on stage with us because we all roll in the car together. and your ancestors taught me that. It's always been women of color, including my own grandmother, teaching me about that resilience, teaching me about the history of colonization in our own family, and why we out here on these picket lines fighting for that academic freedom. It's our ancestors. It's the folks that come before us. It's the folks that fight with us. And it's the folks that come after us. That's solidarity forever. Harmony, 나는 여기 있어. 너는 여기 있어요. Grandma, I'm here, and you're here too.
Public schools in Portland, Oregon are closed today because of a teacher strike. More than 4,500 educators hit picket lines for the first time in the school district's history.
Asbestos in the ceiling and a rat or two. Letters in the water, but they buy balloons. All scripted, can't PD. End up in the closet where the simulcasts be. Friends are generous, nepotism evidence. Math created by PPS. It's the labor of black and brown tests that generate the wealth of Gigi's bonus checks. Class size is 33. Are we people or just sardines? Do they care in the PEC? Fancy suits in the cool AC. Fail up like ABC. Talk down and then they leave. BIPOC to build white dreams. Internalized racism ain't my thing. No contract for people, no better. Can make Guadalupe do better. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. Billionaires like to hide in the castles, built on a labor like P. Diddy samples. Take all their wealth, leave them in shambles, slap them with the sandal, get the chocolate handle. On a resume for the J.O.B. I like to eat the rich, unionize the scene. Gonna find agreements from that MOU. Airing on your laundry on the evening news. Every school voucher got a privatizer, backed by self-interest and right-wing advisors. See Uncle Phil is not paying his taxes. Look how that impacts our students and classes. 2 baby co-brothers, 2 silver spoons. All the land stolen by an old tycoon. All we try to do is just teach the truth, while the rich are telling tales to erase the proof. No contract, no paper, no letter can make Guadalupe do better. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. School board is a mockery. Clown show, no democracy. Admin on a puppet string. Cut the cord to the suits regime. So when you strike, you'll need the right team. Picket signs, laying pies like a kite string. Rain or shine, it's that union vibe energy. Our town, our school, our community. They will try to not spread lies. Twist your mind in the skies for the prize. We don't cross like an SCAB. Hold the line if the sea is wavy. They want us fighting like it's you or me. So speak the truth till they all are free. We are connected by student streams. Public schools for all, that is like me. No contract or paper letter. Give me Guadalupe do better. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. No contract, no paper, no letter can make Guadalupe do better. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. It's that solidarity forever. The power we make as a lever is that solidarity forever. When I say union, you say strong. Union! Union! When I say union, you say power. Union! Union! When I say union, you say strike. Union! Union! When I say union, you say power. Union! Union!
One day longer, one day stronger. Another day of strength.
on you, everybody. Alano De La Rosa was an elected principal officer of Teamsters Local 90 in Des Moines, Iowa, as part of a slate of all new reform officers who swept out the incumbents in fall 2022. He had been a part-time inside worker at UPS for 26 years and was actually in the historic strike at UPS back in 1997. That's right. The story of his slate, Teamsters for Action, shows how rank-and-file reformers can not only win elections, but then put into practice the changes they promised. Alano.
2 years ago, I was a shop steward on the Twilight store inside the UPS hub in Des Moines, Iowa. I kept the union presence inside the warehouse as best I could, handling grievances without much support from my local. Like other committed union members, I was heartbroken at the direction of our union. We watched as our membership shrank, we accepted concessions, and lost member engagement. A few of us active stewards got together and volunteered to rebuild our local by signing up members at the gates, but we were rebuffed by our officers. I wasn't at the last Labor Notes convention, but Tanner Fisher, a UPS package car driver in my building, attended, and he came back levitating with excitement. He was inspired by conversations with other troublemakers and by the running for union office class. He said, "Alano, you have to run for office." And I said, "Tanner, I'm 25 years in and on my way to retirement. You should run for the union office." We went back and forth on that for a while until we both decided that we'd run together. We kicked off our campaign at the gates outside of UPS in 2022, exactly a year before contract expiration. We worked with TDU to run our local election campaign in parallel with the UPS contract campaign and moved our members into action, and we couldn't have done that without TDU. We called ourselves Teamsters for Action, and we were at the gates constantly, representing members as stewards and now as leaders in the fight for a strong contract. For members who never saw their business agents, we were the union. Our UPS barn was over half of our local, so we could have just campaigned where we were strong, but we didn't set out to transform Local 90 halfway. We were there to do this thing, and we were there to do it 100%. We built a team that represented every shift in our hub, and we made plans to visit every shop in our local. We hit 20 different parking lots, gathering information for every shift change. We took every vacation day we had and put it towards a consistent presence at the gates. We had hundreds of conversations one-on-one with our members. The message was simple. Just like you see us here right now, you'll see us at your barns, listening to the issues and working together to make our union stronger. We won our election by a historic landslide victory with a record member turnout. Members were ready for change, and we secured 81% of the vote. Our slate took office January 2023 while we were learning the ropes. We had to handle a years-long grievance backlog, negotiate our biggest contracts, and build a UPS contract campaign, and make good on our promises to visit every member at every shop. At UPS, we held parking lot rallies with rank-and-file members from every classification. We were clear with the company that we were preparing to strike. We were prepared to run a 24/7 operation with strike captains on every shift. When we settled the contract, we ended two-tier for drivers, won a massive raise for both full-time and part-timers, and got major increases to our pension fund. Our next major mission was our Pepsi contract. and winning. The feedback we hear is that the difference has been night and day. Membership total in our local This is how a fighting union is built, uniting members around the causes that matter to them. We're demanding changes workers have been told is impossible, and we're winning. When we raise workers' confidence and expectations, there's nothing we can't accomplish together. We're going to keep on going until we fulfill Local 90's 120-year-old mission to unite our members, organize the unorganized. We're standing up to greedy corporations and taking what our members deserve. Thank you, Labor Notes.
Give it up for Alano De La Rosa. Teamsters Local 90. Kate Ziegler used to be the voice of the Canadian Lotto. That's right, that was her voice on TV, radio, and online. She made commercials for Toyota, for MasterCard. But after the ad agencies walked away from the bargaining table 2 years ago and locked the commercial actors out of union work, she became a voice for democratic fighting unionism. An actors union like Kate belongs to may seem glamorous, but that doesn't tell the whole story of thousands of entertainment tradespeople, from lead actors to stunt people to voice actors like Kate, that's right, who count on union protections for sustainable careers and retirement. When Kate and her fellow workers were faced with being locked out of work, they worked together to change their union from the bottom up. I've gotten to work with them on their journey here, RCAP. They are Labor Notes super students. They have done study groups. They attend every training. They have soaked up everything they can, and I am proud to introduce Kate Ziegler.
Thank you, Sarah, to the moon and back. Wow, Labor Notes, you look gorgeous. There is a lot of labor that goes into advertising. Writers, directors, musicians, editors, sound engineers, drivers, caterers, film crews, and actors. As Sarah told you, I'm a voice actor. Since joining the union in 2011, I've recorded over 1,000 commercials and worked for most major advertising agencies in the world, which is not as impressive as it sounds because really there are just 4 multinational holding companies that own the majority of the big advertising agencies in the world. Sound familiar? 4 conglomerates worth billions of dollars. As a proud member of the Alliance of Canadian Television and Radio Artists, that work happens under our national commercial agreement, which has provided wage stability, retirement contributions, insurance protection, and safety on set for unionized Canadian actors for 80 years. But in March 2022, actress commercial performers received an email from our union's national president that said the advertising entities we bargain with were preparing to lock us out. Dumbfounded, I thought, a lockout? Like in baseball? I didn't even know we were bargaining, and that email said I was about to lose my job. A few days later, leadership presented a strike authorization vote. It was a last-ditch attempt to bolster solidarity, but why were we just finding out now? And what good is a strike authorization if the boss is already prepared to lock you out? The agencies fulfilled their illegal lockout, and within weeks, thousands of actors lost their jobs. That was 2 years ago, this coming April 26th. Now, I wish I was up here to tell you the story of how we won. But instead, I'm going to tell you the story of how we taught ourselves to fight. How 12 Journeyman actors transformed into a group of take-no-shit troublemakers for the creative working class. This is the story of the rank-and-file caucus of actor performers. Initially, we didn't even know who the agreement was bargained with. So I did my own research and distributed it to members. A cabal of advertising agencies in one corner and a faction of corporate players in the other. Think big bank, big pharma, big auto. Just before the contract expired, that corporate faction signed the agreement. But they don't actually employ us. The agencies do. A contract for contract's sake can't hide a decimated jurisdiction. We had to fight for access to the proposals, but eventually we learned that the agencies had sent ACTRA 60% wage cuts and opt-out clauses when the median income of an actor performer is just $15,000. Soon a network of comrades became visible. We'd see one another on Zoom calls. We'd be like, hey, you seem pissed off like me, let's talk. That antiquated trust us model wasn't working for us. So we started meeting on our own and sought out resources to help us understand what was going on. Labor Notes was one of them. They knew exactly what we were going through and how the union had broken our hearts. Initially, I didn't think I had the right to be at workshops like these. How could my struggle possibly compare with that of auto workers, of nurses, of migrant farmers? But at Labor Notes, we learned that capitalism waits for no one. And the class struggle affects us all. I think I'm going to go over, Sarah. Our impulse to build a community around what was happening was the seed for a grassroots member-led caucus. We made a commitment to one another that this union, our union, ACTRA, is ours to fight for and the best vehicle we have to assert our power. To build that power, we were taught to get out there and talk to members, listen and let them vent. Being locked out is vicious, grief-inducing. I'll never forget the first time I had a organizing conversation with a member who was deep in despair. After an hour, she said, you know what? I will come to your meeting and I'm going to bring some friends. The lie we are told about apathy is that members don't care. And the truth is, they care a great deal. We just so rarely feel that it will make any kind of difference. Before we went public with RCAP, I was invited to join the bargaining team. Like clockwork, I was sent a non-disclosure agreement and found myself trapped in a closed bargaining process that betrayed everything I stood for. So in our first big swing, RCAP presented union officials with a petition on bargaining reform. In 30 days, we collected nearly 700 signatures. That's 7 times more than we needed. But it was rejected on the grounds that rank and file members don't have the right to determine the bargaining process. Yeah. Now, I was promptly removed from the bargaining team for being untrustworthy. But the upshot, I was free. Now, that closed process led to a tentative agreement built by our union, including a 20% wage cut. We heard it isn't perfect, but we can meet them in the middle. Now, here's the problem. When an employer seeks 60%, they no longer qualify for our fucking collaboration. So RCAP ran a vote no campaign. We were scared. We'd never done anything like that before, but from Labor Notes we learned a vote no campaign is the single most effective thing that union members can do to empower the bargaining team to get back to the table. And it's a signal to the employer that members aren't going to take a shitty deal. The agreement passed. But none of the locking out agencies came back to the table because no amount of concessions is enough for union-busting employers. Trying to appease them won't end our lockout, nor will it be sufficient in the fight facing all workers against AI and the criminal consolidation of wealth. So we got clear with our members and built RCAP's vision for a transparent, democratic union. We want to shut down exploitive non-union sets and organize those performers to join our fight. Then came our local council elections, 24 seats elected every 2 years. We launched a reform slate with 8 core candidates, held big open meetings with mentors, listening parties in real life, made buttons and flyers and a kick-ass social media campaign. No voter list from the union? No problem. We had our own list from the petition because we've learned that doing it builds it. In the end, we won all 8 of those seats. We doubled voter turnout in our union from 14% to 28%, the highest in our union's history. Myself and 2 others were elected as vice president. We sent 4 people up to the national board where all the bargaining secrets are kept. But I'm not here to sugarcoat a lemon. Getting elected has been very challenging. We want to fight the boss, and not just for commercial actors, to build our union's power for all performers. Instead, we find ourselves battling the status quo. We have nearly built a majority voting bloc, but we're still learning how to wield this tool of council so we can end the lockout. And another thing, we have to keep the heart of the rank and file movement pumping, and it's hard to do both. Last month, one of our comrades stood up and told council, "I've been a member for nearly 30 years and never felt like one until I came to an RCAP meeting." What an honor. What an honor to know that if you do this work, you really do it. You get to be part of something that people have never felt before. That's the power of democracy. And as a leader, I work against the fable or the idea of individual power that leaves really well-intentioned people standing at a brick wall banging not a hammer but their head against it. When what you really need to do, and what Labor Notes teaches all of us to do, is go out and talk to more workers. Go get 1,000 hammers. Anyone who has done this work knows you cannot do it alone. I sure as hell haven't. RCAP, we're really small, but I want you to stand up for a second. Stand up. Labor Notes. We do this work with and for the thousands of Canadian actors who have been out of your work for 2 years, losing their homes, losing their insurance. Because our poll looked at 2% of the budget and said, that's too much. So what do? We agitate. We educate. We organize and fight like hell. Thank you, Labor Notes. Thank you, Chicago.
Wow, speechless. RCAP. Thank you guys. What an honor. I have also been asked to make 2 quick notes. Feels anticlimactic, I'm sorry. If folks in the back, there's still quite a bit of room over here on the side. If a couple dozen people in the back could carefully move down. There's a whole big section. I see somebody raising their hand over there. Yeah, thank you. There's a whole bunch of room. Thank you. That would be great. We're just trying to make sure people can still get out there. People have trains and planes to catch. Thanks so much. Also, I've been asked if you are using interpretation equipment, please do return that at the end of this session in the back of the room. Okay, and with that, we are so excited to welcome Cesar Horta. He is the Secretary General of a union of 4,000 auto workers at an Audi plant in Puebla, Mexico. Wait, I didn't even get to the good part yet. They're owned by Volkswagen, and we know what just happened to Volkswagen in Tennessee, don't we? That's right. Cesar's union overwhelmingly rejected a miserly wage increase earlier this year and struck for 3 weeks behind the slogan, "We are workers, not beggars." Strikes are rare in Mexico's auto sector, where workers find themselves not only under the thumbs of their bosses, but of corrupt employer protection unions with deep links to the country's political elite. But the union at Audi is one of Mexico's young independent fighting unions, and we welcome them to Labor Notes as we build a stronger labor movement across North America. Thank you.
Bien, pues primero que nada, muchísimas gracias por la invitación a Labor Notes, al Centro de Solidaridad, a la UAW, por estar aquí. Para mí es un honor, es un gusto compartir en un escenario tan grande con hombres y mujeres luchadores.
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation to be here. Thank you to Labor Notes, the Solidarity Center, and the UAW. I'm so happy and honored to be here with so many women and men ready for and engaged in the fight.
La explotación laboral en México y la precarización de los salarios han hecho atractiva la inversión en nuestro país. Sin embargo, así como ustedes luchan por mejorar sus condiciones económicas y laborales, hoy nosotros hacemos esa misma lucha.
The exploitation of labor in Mexico and the chronically low wages have made investment in our country attractive. However, just as you are fighting to improve your economic and working conditions, today we are fighting the same fight.
Yo vengo del Sindicato Independiente de Trabajadores de Audi México, lo cual representa 4,000 trabajadores automotrices que se formó en el 2016. Después de años de bajos salarios y explotación, lanzamos una huelga en enero de este año en respuesta a un aumento de salario miserable ofrecido por la compañía. Dijimos, somos obreros, no limosneros.
I come from the Independent Union of Mexican Audi Workers, formed in 2016 and representing 4,000 workers. After years of low wages and exploitation, we launched a strike in January of this year in response to a paltry wage increase offered by the company, saying, "We are workers, not beggars."
Fue la primera huelga en el sector automotriz mexicano en décadas. Duró 26 días de lucha, 26 días de sufrimiento, 26 días de sacrificio, pero donde no nos doblegamos, no nos rajamos, no nos subordinamos a los deseos del patrón. Hoy con gusto y beneplácito les digo, lo logramos. Logramos un aumento del 10.2%, un aumento de 2 dígitos para la base trabajadora. Lo que la base trabajadora pide es una obligación para nosotros.
It was the first strike in the Mexican automotive sector in decades. It lasted 26 days. 26 days of struggle, 26 days of suffering, 26 days of sacrifice. But we did not bend, we did not bow, we did not submit to the boss's will. Today, I'm pleased to tell you that we did it. We achieved an increase of 10.2%. A double-digit increase for our workers, and what our workers demand, we are obligated to achieve.
Sin embargo, estamos todavía muy por debajo de ustedes en los salarios. Un trabajador mexicano gana solo 1/10 del salario que tienen ustedes aquí en Estados Unidos. Las empresas aprovechan esa parte para que con la distancia y con los salarios bajos, la inversión la hagan en nuestro país. Es momento de luchar, es momento de unirnos para que las empresas de Estados Unidos sigan en Estados Unidos y las de México mejoremos nuestras condiciones.
However, our wages are still far below yours. A Mexican auto worker earns only 10% of what a U.S. worker earns. These companies are using the distance and low wages to divide us. So that's why we have to unite to keep U.S. jobs in the U.S. and improve the working conditions and salaries of workers in Mexico.
Concluyo diciendo que el líder sindical que de verdad representa a los trabajadores es aquel que genera unidad, es aquel que genera solidaridad, espíritu de lucha en su gente, pero sobre todo no olvida de dónde viene y no olvida qué debe hacer, no olvida que está obligado a luchar por su gente con empatía y con corazón, y es necesario defender a los trabajadores con sangre. Si es necesario hacerlo así, con nuestra propia sangre, así lo vamos a hacer. Muchas gracias.
I'll conclude by saying that union leaders who truly represent workers are the ones who promote unity, solidarity, and a fighting spirit in their people. But above all, they don't forget where they came from and don't forget what they have to do. They have to fight for their people with empathy and heart. And if they need to defend workers with their blood, if we need to defend workers with our blood, we will.
Our next speaker was meant to be here on Friday night, but he picked a different place to be on Friday night. You might have heard in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was when they had the vote count to unionize the Volkswagen plant. But we don't want to forget that our next speaker is also one of the reasons that we are talking about the 2023 stand-up strike, the biggest labor event of 2023. For so many reasons. This stand-up strike kicked auto companies' butt and shifted millions of dollars from company pockets to workers' pockets by kneecapping the two-tier system. It showed all of us a different way to strike, a hit-and-run strategy that the suits were not prepared for, and it was a joy to watch them falling all over themselves, scrambling. It showed that a strike that wins a good contract will make other workers want to join. It caused hundreds of non-union auto workers to start contacting the UAW and saying they want a union that wins. And it showed that the existence of a rank-and-file reform movement can make all the difference. If the Unite All Workers for Democracy UAWD caucus had not been there, if it had not boldly taken advantage of the opportunity to run, the UAW would not have new leaders, and the stand-up strike and the victory at Volkswagen and Mercedes next would not have happened. So here is one of those reformers, President of the UAW, Shawn Fain.
Good afternoon, Labor Notes. You know, I just finished a breakout we had earlier called Back in the Fight, and talked a lot in there about organizing and how we come together and how we win. I got to ask a question before I get started. Are there any flight attendants in here? All right, well, I want to say one thing about that before I get rolling. Those of you that don't know, AFA is in a massive organizing campaign against Delta Airlines, the biggest. They're the biggest, most profitable airline on earth. And so, how many of you know in this room, how many of you know someone that works in the airline industry? All right, so all those hands that just went up, you need to reach out to those people and talk to those people and get with your AFA, with the flight attendants, APFA, and talk to them about organizing and the importance of this drive. And every time I fly, I wear a Delta supporter, AFA supporter badge. So we're asking you to do that. When we do this together, this is how we win together, how we organize together, and how we fight together. So I'm going to get on to my speech now, but I got to give that spiel because I'm not doing my job as a leader if I don't talk about organizing every time I speak. But I've got one question for everybody in this room. Are you ready to stand up? You know, it's my honor to join you here today in this bright light of history. You know, something's happening in this country. Something we haven't seen in a long, long time. The working class is standing up. And believe me, there's nowhere I'd rather be Friday night than here speaking to all of you, because I treasure this moment. But I got to tell you, there was only one reason I wouldn't be here. And less than 48 hours ago, you all saw what that reason was. 4,000 workers in Chattanooga, Tennessee, did what many people said was impossible. You know, we did what the pundits said couldn't be done. Every time I was interviewed by people when we talked about organizing the South, they would always do an eye roll and say, do you really think you can win in the South? And you know what? Those workers stood up for themselves. That's how we won, and they voted for a union. And you know, I want to recognize a person in this room because this battle wasn't won by me, it wasn't won by one person, but there is one person that we injected into this drive midway through, and there was a group of people we brought in to really help get things back on track and moving, and that's Carla Villanueva. I don't know where you are in here, Carla. We took a group of organizers and leaders like Carla, and we injected them right into the belly of the beast in the American South, where the working class has been shut down and shut out and told to shut up for decades, where the pundits said that we couldn't win. It's not just Volkswagen, though, that we're here to talk about today. It's also the 5,000 workers at Mercedes-Benz in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and those brave workers down there are ready to vote for a union, and they're going to be voting in the second week of May, so it's coming before you know it. It's also the 7,000 Daimler workers in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. And I want to talk about those workers at Daimler because they've told management that if they don't get a deal by next Friday, that they're going to shut shit down. You know, with our victory at Volkswagen, auto workers around the country are speaking with one voice now. And we're telling corporate America that the time is up. And let me assure you this. When I was at Daimler Truck, we came up with a saying. And when I say time's up, you say tick-tock, motherfucker. Time's up. That's right. You know, it's not just corporate America that has something to learn from our union family at Volkswagen. It's us. It's the labor movement. 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, actually, I'll say 20, sounds better. You know, I was a young union activist. You know, I was ready to fight the boss. And I was ready to fight for a better life. And I was stunned when I got elected to my first term as a committeeman at my plant to find myself in a union with leadership that seemed to have no interest in that fight. And, you know, I've been known to, a lot of times when I travel around and speak, I bring my grandmother's Bible with me when I talk about faith. But as a young union activist, I had another Bible. It was this book right here called The Troublemaker's Handbook from Labor Notes. This was my Bible when I became a union rep. And it taught me how to fight the boss, how to fight company unionism, all at the same time. And, you know, I got a section here flagged, and you can see in this thing all the highlights I have in this one section, Chapter 5, which is dealing with labor management cooperation programs. Because we were living it in the UAW. This Bible taught me another kind of faith. It taught me faith in the membership. It taught me faith in the working class. And it's that faith that carried the UAW to our new chapter in history. You know, and about 2 years ago, I put my faith in the membership of the UAW, and I ran for office. And I got to say this, I was supported by, and I would not be standing here today as president of the UAW if it wasn't for the badass members of UAWD, a reform caucus. And I'm a proud member of UAWD. And as UAWD said then, we're putting an end to company unionism, an end to concessions, an end to corruption, an end to tears. You know, we also drew inspiration in UAWD. We were inspired by the Teamsters for a Democratic Union. And we drew a boatload of inspiration from Labor Notes. and everybody else who's fought to put the movement back in the labor movement. We put our faith in the membership, and the membership spoke. The members chose to end company unionism. The members chose to fight. We took that fight straight to the companies in the Big Three, and we took them on like we've never taken them on before. After years of concessions and givebacks, we put forward very bold demands that we were laughed at for in the beginning. We kept the companies guessing after years of them being given a free pass. We won things nobody thought was possible. And we secured the reopening of a plant right here almost in Chicago in Belvedere Assembly after decades of closures. You know, when I took over as president, the electric battery industry was on a race to the bottom. Starting pay at $16.50 an hour, and after 7 years, $20 top pay. We went after that. We went after putting that in our master agreements. And again, we laid the groundwork for a just transition in EV. You know, even though we were told it was against the law. We killed the wage tiers. We shortened the progression to full pay. We won back cost of living allowance. We ended the abuse attempts. But more than anything, what we won on that contract is we got our union back. We put the membership in charge, and we remembered how to fight, and we remembered how to win. And then we noticed something after we won all this, and after this all happened, after we put the membership back in charge, we started to notice something else. Started out by the dozens, then by the hundreds, and then by the thousands. Non-union auto workers were reaching out to join our movement. You know, when I was campaigning for this job, I said a lot that bargaining good contracts leads to organizing success. It goes hand in hand. And so the stand-up strike, it wasn't just about the Big Three, it was about the entire working class. And it was about proving one thing, that the working class can win. And we don't win by playing defense or reacting to things. We don't win by playing nice with the boss. We don't win by telling our members what to do, what to say, or how to say it. We win by giving working class people the tools, the inspiration, and the courage to stand up for themselves. You know, in the 1940s, during World War II, the UAW members were building B-24 Liberator bombers at Willow Run plant. Those bombers were a big piece in the arsenal of democracy that helped defeat the fascists who were seeking to divide and conquer the working class. The UAW was responsible for creating the arsenal of democracy that led the U.S. to winning the war. And I said this at Willow Run on that day when the president visited us on the picket line, that, you know, we found ourselves facing a new enemy, a new authoritarian threat. But it wasn't some faraway country. It wasn't some other state. It was right here at home in our workplaces, and that enemy is corporate greed. And for decades, corporate greed has threatened to destroy the working class. Workers are told that their rights end at the workplace door and to shut up or starve. For decades, workers have been led to believe there's no other way, led to believe that resistance is futile, that class war has been waged on us for decades that it's unwinnable. Workers have been led to believe that working class people don't have the power, the will, or the courage to fight back. So today, from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Chicago, Illinois, we say hell no! We say the working class is the arsenal of democracy, and the workers are the liberators. And going back to organizing again, I wouldn't be doing my job. We had these shirts made up, especially for this movement. We just opened, shamefully to say this, an online store at the UAW because we haven't had one, to sell some swag. And the first thing we created was this right here, these shirts that tie in that significance, that have a bomber on here that says UAW and Liberators below it. And on the back it says, the working class is the arsenal of democracy. So if you want to support organizing, all the proceeds from our UAW website go to organizing. And the one thing I've seen throughout this, and the one thing we know throughout this fight, it's not a CEO that's going to save us. It's not a president that's going to save us. It's not me and it's not you. It's us, and it's a united working class is how we're going to win. You know, the only way we lose this war is by falling for the same tricks we've been falling for my entire life. And that's letting the billionaire class and the corporate class divide us. They try to divide us over race. They try to divide us over who we love. They try to divide us over borders. They want to villainize some destitute, poverty-stricken person for trying to find a better life. They're not our enemy. They're our family. So I'm telling you today, we've got to stand united. And when I look around this room, I see everything we need to win this war. I see working class people from all walks of life ready to fight for democracy. Democracy on the job. Democracy in our unions. Democracy in our industries. In this room, we have everything we need to win. And there's no one smarter, there's no one stronger, and there's no one better, and there's not a better army in this world than the working class. You know, over the last 6 months in the UAW, we've been moving mountains. So I have to ask you all again, are you ready to stand up? All right, then let's get to it, and let's get out there, and let's move more mountains as a united movement. Thank you.
Sean Fain. What a challenge to end on. And I hope we all take that to heart, that this is not just about what happens in these few days, but what we take back, the conversations we start having with each other, with our coworkers, the fights we pick with our bosses. What are you going to do when you get home to come back and talk about and share and push forward next conference? To that end, I just have a couple of thank yous and quick announcements. Obviously, this cannot happen without the help of so many people. We really do build this together. First, I want to thank you all for carrying this movement, for putting in so much work. Give it up for yourselves, Labor Notes participants. Thank you to our international folks who came. Our fights are interconnected and we learn from each other. Thank you to our interpreters who make that possible. We communicated with each other in so many languages this weekend: Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, French, American Sign Language, and others. I also, just a quick note, our interpreter who was up here, Joanna Parker, is the daughter of one of the founders of Labor Notes. It's particularly sweet to have her here with us to carry on that work. I want to thank the Labor Heritage Foundation. How amazing was it to have the Great Labor Arts Exchange? This is the second conference we've partnered with them, and we hope to continue the tradition moving forward. It's become a beautiful partnership. We want to thank the folks who have made this financially possible. We raised so much money leading up to the conference to bring workers here. It would not have been possible to have this group of people here without that. If you gave money to help people buy plane tickets, train tickets, hotel rooms, scholarships, thank you, thank you, thank you. Last night, we held our Troublemaker Awards and our fundraising dinner. We honored inspiring troublemakers. We honored our friends who are no longer with us, and we raised over $65,000. We had folks give, individuals and organizations who gave what they could, big amounts, small amounts, and we are humbled by all of it. We thank the hundreds of volunteers who worked the registration table, the welcome table, the t-shirt table, who directed traffic, who gave directions, who ran materials to and from workshop rooms, who set up and took down projectors and screens. We had so many people, hundreds of people helping out this weekend. It could not have happened without them. Thank you to the child care workers for their essential labor. Our union hotel staff here at the Hyatt, unite here. Our union AV staff at Encore. The groups who collaborated with us on actions downtown, Arise and others. The Illinois Labor History Society for the Labor History Tour, if you were able to catch that. Okay, did I get on? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving, as we go home, there are ways to stay involved. Labor Notes is not just a conference. You can become a subscriber to our magazine, read stories like the ones you heard this weekend, and then write your own for us. Get in contact, ask for help, keep us posted on how you're using these skills. We put on trainings and troublemaker schools in different cities. Help us build it when we come to your town. See you, Buffalo. Come to our online trainings and events. There are so many ways to get in contact. Follow us on social media, contribute. We're so excited to stay in touch and continue to connect each other up in between conferences. Okay, a couple of last announcements and we are wrapping up. We have come together, we now must depart. The airport shuttle will help us do that. It is leaving every 15 minutes, going straight to O'Hare. You can catch it out front. There is a lost and found. I really appreciate people's dedication to hydration based on the number of water bottles we have. That's in the office behind the registration. You can grab someone there. And interpretation equipment, again, please return to the back. For those, thank you again for taking care of each other. I saw people feeding each other, wearing masks to help us stay safe. Please go home and take care of yourselves. And we'll wrap us up. We have one final tremendous closing. We've invited Joe Jenks to lead us in Solidarity Forever. Joe is an outstanding singer and songwriter who has performed around the world and at countless picket lines and union halls. He's joined by Lynn Marie Smith, the Motown diva. Solidarity Forever reminds us that workers have the power to change the world, and that the root of that power is something so simple, our promise to have each other's backs. So please welcome two members of the Traveling Musicians Union, Local 1000, Joe Jenks and Lynn Marie Smith.
You all know this, please sing it with us. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. What force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving amidst the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never tried to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single will return. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world, the ashes of the old, when the union makes us strong. Say all this. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. I need to hear ya. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us Thank you, Labor Notes.
Thank you.